Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at
Hi, Nan.
Very Good Queenie. How are you?
I am so fantastic. If I was any better, I'd be you.
I'm sure you don't want to do that because you'd be busy.
Hi. Yeah, I was going to
Not
say.
that you're not busy now.
Seriously. Oh, my goodness. I looked at the schedule for this week and I was like, okay, that was not smart to set these up the way I did, but oh my gosh. I am so excited just to be alive. It's so gorgeous in Kansas City today. It's like incredible. My first meetings have gone so well, and it's just a beautiful day to be alive. I love Mondays. I know you do too now, but right, Doc.
I try. I did get a chance to go outside, and it was in the 60s. And
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have to wear shoes.
Yeah. How does that work in the summertime in Kansas City?
No. I was laughing to myself because the only time I do wear shoes is when I'm working in the garden, but any other time I'm either barefoot or in my sandals. So,
yeah, it's pretty funny when we start thinking. It just gives us a little taste because, of course, according to the weather, it's going to be in the hundreds again. And I'm like, uh-oh. So we'll see, but it's very exciting. And I do love Mondays. One of the questions today on one of the groups I participate in was today's Monday. What do you like best about it? Oh my gosh, I have such a list. Yeah, I know. I make people a little bit nuts.
Well, so we have to go through National Day of to start with.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because I have a purpose.
And thank you, National Day of, once again, to Karen Higgins, who declared it. So we accepted the declaration.
Yes, Doc and Queenie Day every August, first Monday in August to celebrate Doc and Queenie Day.
Yeah. So that was very fun, and this is so cool to see. So we're official.
It's been a lot of fun. You know, we had a lot of great response, and
oh my gosh, that video you prepared was so spectacular. And thank you to everyone who participated in it. And it really is. It's so exciting to see the community come together.
Yes. You know, I wish I could have had everybody on there, but you know.
I would think that would be a lot even for you, Doc.
I'll start now for next year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I just my, you know, like you, my time is very scheduled and limited outside of what I have scheduled already.
Yeah. Okay.
So happy high noon, ladies. Debbie Miller back at you, Debbie Dub. So let's talk about National Day of, because I just can't wait to put this up here. Well, first of all, it's and I didn't get a background for this, but it's National Love Your Bookshop Day.
Love your bookshop. All right.
We don't, at least where we live, there aren't any bookshops, and if you want to call Barnes and Noble a bookshop, I guess it is. It's a more of a
conglomerate almost.
Yeah. I grew up in a smaller town, it wasn't compared to Chicago. It was a smaller town.
Yeah. Anything compared to Chicago is a small.
Yeah, it was 100,000 when I was growing up, so I guess it wasn't small. But we had a bookshop, and there were several different areas where they had little bookshops to go into, and they had rows and rows of new and old books, and it was fun to go through a bookshop like that. And once in a while I'll do Barnes and Noble. I love to browse and look at stuff, and I love books. So how about you?
I love the fact that I get to be an author now, and that's pretty fun. I love the fact that Happy Neighborhood Project is starting a book lovers event. And so that will be for authors, aspiring authors, people who just love to read, graphic designers, cover makers, anybody who is into the book thing. We are super excited about that. Rainy day books, absolutely. So thank you for that. And that's always a biggie. But book shops, as you call them, now have coffee shops within them, so you can stay there longer and browse through books. So I think it's very cool. Just today is Bookshop Day. I love that.
Yes, love your Bookshop Day. It's also National Creamsicle Day, but
Oh gosh, that is not on my list to go fetch today, but thank you for that, Doc.
I just thought I'd throw that out to you, just in case. Just in case you had the desire, or go, I haven't had a creamsicle in at least 20 years. I need to go out and get another one.
Yeah, I was just going to say at least that long, right? Oh gosh.
So, National Financial Awareness Day.
Nice.
What's your thoughts on that?
I am very numbers always in my personal life, structure, agenda, being a good steward of your finances, things like that. So numbers is my thing. And certainly in my business, that's one of the huge pieces of Water Workshop is the training piece of numbers. So Financial Awareness Day, I love that part. And I wish that they taught more financial finesse in schools, and not just high school, for heaven's sakes, elementary. How much does this cost? How much is this worth? What is the value? Do you have enough money? Even if it's play monopoly money at the beginning of a school year, I'd love for every kid to have this much money. And every time you need something that has a monetary value, to pay for it. And some schools do play stores, like they set up a chamber of commerce or a play, like a market, and then you go pay for this stuff with that money. And I'd love for people to get a grasp on all things finance. So I'm all over Financial Awareness Day. I need to go get a t-shirt.
Yes. And, I put all this stuff up here. Also, the whole financial awareness, it's all about preparing.
Yes.
I mean, it's saving, it's investing. And like you're saying, it's understanding, especially with kids, to understand the value of a dollar, and the value of stuff, that whole deal. And so I'm segueing into the be prepared. So I'm going to tell a story.
Okay.
Last night we had rain in Kansas City, which brought the temp down about 20 to 25 degrees. Thank you, storm and God. And our power went out. Our power was out for 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
I think, I was sort of watching the clock. And I've got these little solar lights, actually, that I just bought a couple of them for camping. And I have them sitting around. And I thought, well, let's see if they still work. And they worked. We were able to see. Half of us went to bed because it was dark out. And the other half stayed up. What can you do when you have no power? But isn't it interesting? If I didn't even have that sitting around, what if this went on? What if I was thinking, I'm like, gee, I hope it doesn't go into tomorrow. I won't be able to get on my computer. But my point is the prepared piece, and prepared in business. Are we prepared for our business? Do we think through? Do we set goals? Do we know, do we set goals, just little goals of where to go? Do we know what will happen once the business starts get up and running? What do we do with the monetary piece that we earn? Do we reinvest it back into our business? Do we have a business plan? There's all of those kinds of things, which are super important. And you run across, I'm sure you have with all the networking you do, sometimes you run across and you can kind of tell the people that have it planned out and some that don't. And it's just kind of like our conversation, people that understand networking and people that don't.
Everyone has.
I'm here to talk to you and get to know you. I'm not here to buy you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. And some people do that. Would you like to buy whatever it is? And they don't even think about the communication part as far as knowing you as a person. And I always remember the time a person had asked for a one-on-one, and to the best of my ability, I schedule them as soon as I can. But this one happened to be 3 weeks out. That was the next available slot I had on this blessing I call a calendar. And so
calendar blessing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But 3 weeks out, I was like, holy moly. But anyway, I appreciate the fact that this person reached out. So she's going through this everything. Hi, how are you? Great. I have something to show you. And it was that quick. And so all of a sudden she does a screen share, and she's now doing her website and her this and her that and her something. She didn't know a thing about me other than having met me. and whatever she would have checked out on social media. And I don't even think she did that, because while we're going through everything, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to just sit back and let this flow. And I didn't interfere. I didn't interrupt. I didn't say, I already have this, nothing. So she goes through this whole thing and she goes, what do you think? And I said, oh my gosh, I think it's fantastic. And she goes, you do? And I said, absolutely. And she goes, well, can I sign you up? And I said, well, I guess not. I have been a client of this particular company for 13 years. What? And you see what I mean? And I was looking at that going, wow. She didn't ask, have you ever heard of it? Do you already have a plan? Do you have a rep in your life that would be a good fit for you? None of that. She just does all of this on her show and tell, share screen thing. And what do you think about this? Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. And so isn't that interesting that people don't use the get to know you part? They literally just go, would you like to buy that?
Well, and it's funny that you talk about that. This morning, I posted a blog, and then I decided to right away put it on Instagram and put it on Facebook. And I had somebody immediately on Instagram like it and say, I love the picture. I've gone to your blog. This is great. You need to, and you've seen it on Instagram. You need to share it here. Well, instead of just doing one, first she goes, I'm following you, follow me back. So I looked at her stuff because I always try to vet, and it looked okay. And I thought, well, I'll follow her back. That's fine. And she basically, bleh, I mean, it was post it here, post it there. And, oh, you're an author. You can get 5,000 followers. And then after she did all of that, and it was like 4 or 5 different responses, which I didn't respond. Then she goes, are you there? And then another 3 or 4 on, we can help authors. You can have 5,000 people immediately see your work and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I just took a step back and decided but it was that same kind of thing of just that, we always call it verbal vomit or swooping or whatever you want to call it, of just, I don't know you. It wasn't a face-to-face, but even on something like Instagram with, I vet, I try to make wise decisions, and I'm careful who is on, who I follow.
Have you ever decided that this is the technique you would use to sell to your grandma?
Yeah,
and I always think of that because, well, my grandma, holy moly, she would just absolutely go, Catherine, what is wrong with you? And so, because that would be her thing if I did that approach, and that would not be a good fit. And then, of course, even if you sold to your mom or your dad or your grandma, your grandpa, your brother, your sister, whatever that looks like, how would you sell to a family member? And of course, everybody goes, you can't sell to a family member. Well, first of all, yes, you can. But second of all, the approach piece is huge. So the verbal vomit, as you call it, I call it barfing or swooping, of course. And if you all of a sudden barf your business on somebody, the first thing I instantly feel is, OMG, this person needs to be trained. And that's where my brain goes. And usually, like I say, with this other person, I just sat back, let him do it. What do you think? And that's when I went, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And so when people find you on the internet thinking you're going to have a little camaraderie engagement thing going on, and the next thing you know, they do that to you, I'm sure that made your head explode.
I just was like, all I did was a little blog post, and you're running down my throat.
No, that is what gives social media rep folks a bad name. Yeah. How would you like to be approached or treated? And that always sticks in my head. I'm here to help. You know what I do for a living. If you need my advice, help, thought, opinion. People have come to me before and say, oh my gosh, did you know da-da-da has a new water da-da-da? And I say, oh, absolutely. And they go, well, what do you think of it? And I usually, all I say is I don't own one. And that's usually all I say, which for many of my internal type friends, they would go, well, if you don't own one, then I get it. And so whatever that topic is, I wouldn't negate another product. I don't personally care what's out there. We all have to have choices, I suppose. But for me to have researched extensively before I made this decision, I wouldn't give this up for anything in the world. And so all of a sudden, guess what I have for you? A brand new da-da-da something water thing. And I'm going, oh my gosh.
I didn't know I needed that.
Exactly. And I usually say, how nice of you to think of me.
Yeah.
And so then they go, well, what do you think? And I say, well, it's lovely. I appreciate the fact that I am top of your list when it comes to water. And they go, well, do you want one? And I say, well, certainly not this time. It's redundant to what I already own. And I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. My company's been around almost 50 years. And you see what I mean? It's the, guess what you need?
And what you need is, and you're like, you don't know what I need.
Yeah. And that's always a tough one for me. And I mean that with all my heart. Thank you to Terry Ann and to Debbie Dove, and certainly to Karen and to Lisa for joining us today. We're thrilled that you guys could be here as we continue to celebrate National Doc and Queenie Day, which will last hopefully until next year.
Well, to finish up and wrap up our National Day of, so I'm going to just race through the calendar here just so people know.
National Day of. Okay, let's hear it.
So tomorrow is National Lemon Meringue Pie Day, which actually picked that out because that's one of my favorites.
Yes, I can see why. I actually can handle that myself.
Wednesday is National Roller Coaster Day.
Not happening in my lifetime.
And I equate that to peppers. You either love it or you hate it. Don't you think?
I like terra firma.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I like solid ground. I like solid ground.
Thursday is National Thrift Shop Day.
Oh, I could go there for sure. I love thrift shops. It's like going on a treasure hunt.
And Friday is National Fajita Day, or as we say in my family, fajita.
Fajita. I suppose you could do veggie ones of those because they usually have steak or chicken or those kind of things, and that's not a good fit in my brain. But I could do veggie fajitas, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just wonderfully grilled. Yeah, I don't get all the junk with it. We just like it grilled. And Saturday, if you like potatoes, it's National Potato Day.
Wow.
And then Sunday, I had to mention this. Sunday is Bacon Lovers Day, which I know is your favorite day, Queenie.
Oh gosh, absolutely, Doc. Oh my goodness.
So
I think the whole world is actually waiting for your chocolate bacon. So people have their fingers crossed for Christmas.
Well, we have 19 Fridays to go.
We definitely.
But who's counting?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, who is counting? As soon as I saw you post that, I was like, she's on my page. I love this. Yeah.
No, I thought, oh no, another person out there that loves Christmas.
Queenie's contagious. Yeah.
So that'll about do it for National Day of. So which wheel are we going to spin today?
Well, let's find out about someone asked me to reach out to you about a product. I love that. Yeah, that's always the backdoor way that people get into stuff. Somebody asked me to reach out to you, and I'm always like, hide your friends list so they don't do. Kathy Weaver said you need up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, please stop.
Yep. BLT. And I love Carrie Ann, BLT.
Yeah, lots of bacon topped with bacon. Oh my gosh.
Lots of bacon topped with
bacon. Your compadre, Doc. She is your compadre.
We had BLTs last night for dinner. It wasn't that bacony, but there was bacon. Yes.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then I remember, I don't even know if people do this these days, quite frankly. I think in my family of origin, there was white bread, which quite frankly, when you squish it, it would stay squished. So I guess it was like, I know, real white bread, like store-bought kind of thing.
Like Wonder?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say any names, but yeah. And so all of a sudden it really is like the squish kind. And then Miracle Whip, tomato, bacon, and I think lettuce, because now you're going to make it healthy. Yeah. And another smash of white bread on top of that. And then, of course, when you bite into this conglomeration thing, all the white bread stuff would stick to the roof of your mouth. And I'm just like, there's not any part of this other than possibly the lettuce and tomato that I can handle. And so I remember thinking about that. Anytime people say BLT, that's what sticks in my head. And that's probably why I have a bad
BLT trauma.
Yeah, I do. Seriously. And it was shock therapy possibly, but that really is what sticks in my head. And so I I can't get past that because I'm sure you probably use, of course, gluten-free bread or sourdough or something like that, I would think, right?
Yeah, I make my own bread. But when you talked about the Wonder Bread thing, I always remember my mom used to bake bread, sourdough all the time.
Uh-huh.
As kids, I was probably about 10 years old. There were four of us. We were like, can't we have store-bought bread, please? And I'm like, what was wrong with us?
Mom went to all that trouble. You guys want the stuff out of the package.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
So, but no, I usually make my own bread. I do a heritage wheat or gluten-free. So
That's lovely, Dr. Laura.
yes, heritage wheat. I'll just explain that. That thing's like Eichhorn wheat, and it's been around for 2,000 years, and it's unscathed. Basically, it's not genetically modified like majority of the wheat out there, and it's actually healthier. In addition to people that have gut issues or intolerances, most people can eat that type of wheat. So instead of doing gluten-free is good to a point in moderation, like everything. It's very high in starch. And people think, oh, gluten-free bread, it's healthy. It's not so healthy. So, but the heritage wheat actually is healthier if you can tolerate the wheat piece.
Eichhorn, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So that's Eichhorn as opposed to acorn with an I, which some of us would have thought, but Eichhorn.
I'm not sure if there's an H. I think it's ORN.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could sit corrected on that.
No, that's okay. I just appreciate the fact that it's not acorn with an I. So that works for me.
I could try, but I think it would take a while to get through that acorn shell. Maybe I could have the squirrels that keep eating my tomatoes help me out.
Oh my gosh, I saw that picture.
Well, they're at it again. I found some more this morning. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, of course I would think any varmints would think that your backyard is a smorgasbord buffet.
Well, they've got trails and they've got all these nice little, sidewalk stuff, not sidewalks, but everything is gravel or mulched, and yeah.
Yeah, you've made it beautiful for them. It's their absolute smorgasbord buffet. I just think you have done it all. Cornucopia for varmints.
Yeah, come on down. All right, so which one are we going to do first, Queen?
That is 1,000,000% up to you, Doc. If you want the words first, or if you want the event.
Let's do the events first today.
All right. So, all right, Doc and Queenie topics. Let's see what pops up first. Oh my gosh, this is a good one.
Ooh, AI. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So, what do you think about AI, Doc?
I think it is a very good tool to use when it comes to posts or writing. What's your thought, Queenie?
I have used it for gamify. And so I've done things like how much water do you drink in a day? And what would happen if you up that by 1% or 2% or 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 5 ounce kind of thing. And so make it a game kind of fun thing. And AI has come up with some cool tools for that. But just like you mentioned, this for me is another tool in my toolbox of social media navigation. So some people are like, be careful, oh my gosh. But I think it's some folks go overboard on just about everything they touch. And for me, it's just a tool in my toolbox to help me with my navigation. What about you?
That's basically the same thing here. I do a lot of lists of things for Pinterest posts and blog posts and this and that. And it's perfect to give me an outline structure.
Sure.
And then I just fill in the blanks, or if I'm stuck. Sometimes I have it rewrite things because I just don't like what I've read.
Good idea.
And I will say rewrite 7th grade level, which that's about the level that people read at, I guess. I don't know where I got that from. I think that's like the average. Maybe I got it from you, but it'll usually rewrite it at that level, which gives me it gives you a different viewpoint, and you're like, huh, okay, I didn't think to phrase it that way. So, but yeah, I usually use it for a lot of lists.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I was actually writing the other day on cilantro, and I said, what are the medicinal benefits of cilantro? So it gave me a list. So, and I'm like, oh, there were a few things in there I didn't know. So, yeah, I love it. It's a great tool to use.
Now, what would be the difference or the benefit of using an artificial intelligence tool as opposed to just a Google search? What's the difference?
Google search, you have to search longer. I mean, you have to know what you're searching for, I guess. I would say the AI is a summary. I mean, it's just a general. It doesn't get very specific, not unless you know how to ask it to get into the specifics. Google search, I guess you could do the specifics, but you have to dig. You have to dig a little bit more. And also, I'm just trying to think of the two. The Google search too. What are the medicinal benefits of cilantro? They would give you websites that have that topic on it. So then you got to go to the website and you got to scroll through their stuff, and then you have to read their article. It's more work. So that's my take. What is your take on that, Queenie?
Well, one of the things for me is a Google search. Google, of course, loves paid ads, and the paid ad piece for me is seldom a good fit. Don't buy this one. This is cheaper. Ours is cheaper, whatever that looks like. And they've paid to be on the top of a Google search. So I go to Google Scholar for that. But what I've done now is compared Google Scholar research information to AI. So I ask a similar question in both platforms and then compare that. And that usually is what helps me with my conclusion, not necessarily my purchase.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah, I was going to say, just to go to regular Google, like you said, you've got ads and you just get lost in the mire. And then sometimes it doesn't answer the question.
Mm-mm.
And you're like, okay, I'm looking, and I've even had on Google sometimes looking for a website, type it in, or, I know the parts of it and I'm digging to find it. So, and that's always that algorithm piece. Yeah, no, that's a good Google Scholar. Yeah, Google Scholar is great for research, and I know I've done it a lot when I've had people ask about water and naturopathy and those things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, AI gives. I think AI in general, at least in the way I ask it, it's a good framework. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good start for something. And I'm doing a lot of blog posts, which are just quick pieces of information. I've got your 10 lists of medicinal benefits for cilantro.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
So, and then I just try to make it look like I didn't get it from AI. So, and that's where my knowledge comes in, and you mix it together. But it gives you a good start, especially in those days where you're like, I got nothing. I don't even know where it went.
No, it is a good basis and a good template, if you will. And then, of course, I dial it up a little bit. So I definitely agree with that.
So it's great tools. I don't think it's, beyond that. I don't go there. I just use it as a tool.
Well, people take everything to the extreme, and that's not a good fit for me either. So I use it as a tool. Hammers can be used for bad things if you do it wrong. So yeah,
you can hurt your thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see what we can get for our word. Doc and Queenie right here. Okay, so let's go to a word for Doc and Queenie today. Words have meaning. All right, let's find out what this word is, Doc. I love all the people that have sent us words so that we could quote talk about. I love to be able to do that as well. Oh my gosh, this is a good one for today.
That's my word for the year.
Is it really?
Yes.
I love that. All right, purposeful. Purposeful.
So what's your purposeful word? What's your definition of that? Or what is your
I,
take?
for me, the opposite of purposeful would be kind of random. And I am definitely the opposite of random. Everything for me is calculated. And if there is not a purpose for the topic, I don't want to play. And if there's not a purpose for my efforts, I don't want to play. So purpose is a great word in my life because I feel that the things I do are purposeful because I do not have time to waste. And I realize that every single step of my journey needs to be shall we say, calculated. But I also feel that it's important when I have a purpose out there that I am, what would you say, purpose for the greater good. Let's go there. Yep. So I personally, purposefully do not do random. What about you? If that's your word for the year, that's very cool.
Yeah, I take it, I take it a different direction. I agree with what you say, but I also add to that, we were created for a purpose, and everything we do on purpose has a purpose. And I try to follow through with what I think God wants me to do for the moment. But I also,
it's a nice confirmation when you are aiming for your purpose if He gives you a great job. And so that's always cool.
Yeah. So I try to, everything I do, just, refocus on what my purpose is and make sure I'm within the confines of what it should be. And like you say, not be so random.
Yeah.
Which is a challenge sometimes for me.
We are all in how do they say that? We're all in a journey. And we have a lot of unfinished things that we need to work on. How about that?
That's good. I was going to say I'm in the sports car 90 miles an hour and you're still back at the stoplight sauntering.
That's right. And yeah, that is correct. Let's enjoy the moment.
I just got to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine is I'll get there when I get there. And there you go. So.
Yes, yeah. I used to drive my family crazy and we would drive back to Chicago. It takes, and here, this tells you right here, my husband, when he drives, it takes us about 9 to 9.5 hours. When I drive, it's usually 8, maybe 8.5 if you're lucky. I'll stop for people to go to the bathroom and get gas. So.
Yeah. And once again, for me, honestly, especially with the driving thing, I allow those who are in a hurry to do their thing. And even when I've done gigs before in different parts of the state, all of a sudden you would be driving to wherever your location is, even if it's 30 minutes, an hour away. And I obviously leave room for plenty of time, but then there's a construction issue and stop zone ahead and blah, blah, blah. And so I have seen people or put on the horn or whatever they do and start zigging like they're going to get there quicker than we. And I just look at that and I go, this is for a reason. This is for a purpose. And I need to just enjoy. And I was delayed on the highway the other day, literally 2 hours. And so there had been a huge crash and a fire and all kinds of stuff. And I looked at that. And instead of having angst and everybody's pulling off, like getting off the highway, where are you going to go in all these back roads to get over there where you're headed? And I just thought, we'll just see what this purpose is. And it gave us plenty of time to pray for the person. And actually someone was killed in the crash. And it's back to that same drill. What are you in a hurry for? Let everyone who is in a hurry go. When I get there, and I do. And even when I was doing a gig, no offense to the gig, they can't start without me. Or if they do start without me, someone else will present and will reschedule me. I was stuck on the highway. There's nothing I can do about it. And so I have lived long enough to realize that rush for me is not a good fit. I'll get there usually the same time as the person who was racing. And I love that part. Hi, I see this, that you got here before me. You can park my car. There you go. It just works for me. So I really am not a rusher.
Yep. Oil and water, Queenie. Oil and water.
I'm telling you. And I think I might have told you this on this call the other day. One of the gentlemen that works with me in the leadership for networking events, he has compared, one of the co-hosts was comfortable with me and perhaps not so much with him. And he said, well, you've been used to a golf cart. We are now going to Ferrari. So there you go. So I was compared to a golf cart. I don't know how to take that exactly, but slow and steady, steady and slow.
Beautiful landscape to enjoy. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I will enjoy every moment of my life to the best of my ability and not race through it.
So that's awesome.
And you know what's actually funny? And I think about this honestly, since you are racing a lot of times, everything in your life, like harvesting, growing, all of that stuff, none of it can be raced. And so maybe that's why your life is accelerated, because your business is not determinate on racing. And so maybe that's why that's such a dichotomy.
You know, I am ironic.
Oh, maybe so. I do the stop and smell the roses and wait until they grow. And if they don't grow, go buy some. Who cares? Have them delivered. And you're sitting here going, no, why didn't that work?
I was just about to say, why did they die? And why didn't they come up? We're going to replace those right now.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Have them delivered, whatever. I don't care. And so it really is oil and water. I love that.
So totally. Well, Queenie, we're almost at the top of the half hour. We're actually a little past. So it's always been fun.
It goes so fast, and I'm still on celebratory mode. Last week was a blast.
We had a blast.
The video that you made was so cool, Doc. I could watch that a million times. I'm glad we got to put that on Facebook.
Yeah, and I'm going to trickle out some other parts of it here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh, no, that's fun.
It'll be fun. Had a great time interviewing everybody, and it was just fun. It was just fun. Yeah, and we, it was a blast to just watch the engine, watch the engine go with everybody and sharing and participating, and it was a lot of fun last week. So thank you, everyone. Because of you, we had Doc and Queenie Day, national holiday.
That's right.
So anyways, well, we have to depart because we both, have a schedule.
We're racing somewhere.
Yeah, she's going to saunter and I will get there early.
Oh gosh.
But thank you for joining us. If you'd like to reach out to Queenie, she's got a website at kathyweaverkc.com, and myself is kitchengardenexpert.com, or you can find Queenie all over social media, Kathy Weaver KC, and myself, Kitchen Garden Expert. Till next time, have a fantastic week. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully, wherever you are here in Kansas City, we're going to be in the 70s, which is perfect. We'll take it. Push that 100-degree off for a while, hopefully. And we'll see you right back here next Monday at
high noon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Queenie.
Thank you, Doc. Bye for now.
Bye.